Hello, welcome everybody. This is Satish from HG Multimedia. Today we are creating this shared transition animation. So it will create a nice effect into our app. So let's get into an Android Studio. I'm creating a new project and calling it as a shared transition, and let's keep all the parameters same, and let's enter finish. So we have done with the Gradle build part. Let's go to our Gradle part and implement uh, add the dependency for the card view, so it will help us for the better UI element. So I have pasted here, and let's change it to the card view, and let's sync it. And we have done. So let's go to our layout file, and in this layout file first change this constraint layout to the relative layout, so it will be better to design our UI in our relative layout. So let's on the preview and change this text view to the card view, and this card view should have the width of match parent and the height should be of the wrap content. And let's add the corner radius for our card view about 5 dp, and let's add background card background color that should be something like blue. It will look nice. And let's add first element, that is image view, and that it should have the wrap content, but we will change this width and height when we insert our image. So let's copy this icon and paste into our drawable folder, and let's give the source to this image as a Android. So as you can see, the size of the icon is much greater, so let's change it to the 120 dp, and less height should also be the 120 dp. So as you can see, the size of the card is also changed as we have set it to the wrap content. So let's give the margin, upper margin about 30 dp, so 30, or we can say it as a 70 dp, so it will appear at lower. And let's add one more widget here as a text view, and this text view should have the wrap content, and let's add the text to this, and we are adding the text as the description, and we want to add this into our linear layout. And let's set the orientation for this linear layout as horizontal, and cut this, and paste it here. So as you can see, description is appearing here. So add description text size of text up to 30 sp, and let's change the color of the text to the something like red color. So like Android dot and we want to style of this text should also be the bold, so it will look nice. And we want to top margin also of something like 20 dp, so it will appear as below. And let's add the left margin with the 5 dp, and let's add the padding about 5 dp, and let's change this corner radius to the 20. As you can see, the corner radius is changed. Now main thing in this transition is that we need to give an ID for this image view, that we are giving that as a logo, and we need to give a transition name. Transition name also I am giving it as a logo, and same we need to give an ID for this text view as a text, and transition name also as a text. So we have done with this. The main thing for the shared transition is that in our styles we need to add one item, that is window transition, and that should be a value is true, and we need to set the API level to the 21. So we are overriding it with the API level of 21, and let's go to our main activity file, and let's initiate all this. And we need to add one more activity inside our Java, so we can make transition between that two activities. So I am adding new empty activity and calling it as main activity 2 and keeping all the parameters same. And inside this main activity 2 layout file, we need to make the layout also. So let's change this constraint layout to the relative layout, and let's add Cardview as a background. And inside this Cardview, what we required is that we required image view, and that image view also is of something like 480 dp, and height also the 480 dp. And let's add source as a Android. So we need to change this 480 to the something like 320 or 300. Let's change this also to the 300. Sorry for this. And align it to the center. After this, what we required to set an transition name as we have given in our previous layout, that is logo. And after this we required one more text view, and this text view should have the wrap content. And let's add the text. I'm copying that text from our developers website like this, and paste this text inside our text. This is not the good way of writing the text inside our XML file. We need to give into our values folder, and let's short this text little bit. And let's add ID for this as a logo, and keeping it as a below the layout. So for that we are including new linear layout. In this linear layout, wrap content and the orientation should be the vertical. And let's cut this and paste into our linear layout. As you can see, we got this as simple. And let's give an transition name for this also. Transition name same as that we have given in the previous text. And let's go to our main activity. So here what we required is that we required image view, calling it as a logo. And after this we required text view and calling it as a text. And after this, inside our main activity, we need to initiate this image view and text view with the find view by ID. Logo, and change text by the find view by ID. And after this we need to give an ID for our card view also, so we can also give a transition between the two images also. So let's go to our main activity and set an on click listener for this logo. Dot set on click listener and new on click listener. Inside this on click listener, what we required an intent, new intent. We require to pass get application context, and we are passing this intent to the main activity 2 dot class. And for this intent, what we required is that we need an activity options, so we can apply the share transition. For that we required a pair, so I am creating pair of array in which the size of the array I am keeping it as a 2. And let's initiate this with the pair dot create inside this what we required, we need to pass an object and the object B. So object A is the our main view, and after this we required a string. So string we are passing is the transition name that we have given in our layout file. So let's create one more. Pair dot create and name it as a text, and it has name as a text. After this what we required is that we need an activity options, as activity options is equal to activity options dot make scene transition. Inside this transition we required to pass an activity, and the current activity is a main activity. So the main activity dot this, and we require to pass the pair. So we have created this pair, so I am passing it as a pair P, and after this we require to pass. So it is share transition is available after the lollipop, that is the API level of 21. So we require to surround with Android version. So we have created an activity options. So let's start activity by passing intent and also the activity option as a bundle. Let's check an app once again. As you can see, when we click on the image, it is transition is appearing, and when we click on back, it is appearing like this. So we have done with the share transition. As you can see, it will look, it will create a nice effect into our app. So it is always better to use this share transition. So we have done with this example.